Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into SoFi's 2025 roadmap.
Oh, yeah.
And this is coming straight from their Q4 2024 investor presentation that they just released last month in January of 2025. And we've also got their earnings report.
Yeah.
So we're really going to get like a full picture of where they're going.
Absolutely. And I think where they're going is really interesting. You know, SoFi isn't just trying to be another player in this space. They're trying to kind of like own the space.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So before we get into like their master plan,
Right.
can we talk a little about their recent performance? So
Yeah.
they had a stellar 2024.
They did.
Were there any numbers that really jumped out at you?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things really caught my eye, I think. First off, their full-year revenue hit a record $2.61 billion, which is a 26% year-over-year increase.
Wow.
So that's some pretty impressive growth,
Yeah, that's incredible.
no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, and it's not just growth for growth's sake.
Right.
They actually achieved full-year profitability for the first time
Huge.
ever. That's huge, especially for a company that's been investing so much.
Yeah, a company that's really been looking toward the future and putting a lot of investment out there. So to see it come to fruition is really impressive.
Yeah, definitely. And they ended the year with their 5th consecutive profitable quarter in Q4 2024.
Yeah, they're on a roll.
Clearly, this strategy that they're pursuing is working.
Yeah, it seems to be panning out.
Their tangible book value also saw significant growth,
Yes.
adding $1.37 billion to reach $4.89 billion.
Yeah, that's not insignificant.
Yeah, and they added a whopping 34% more members,
Wow.
which puts them over 10 million members now.
That's a lot of members.
Yeah, so it really seems like they're hitting their stride.
Yeah, I mean, those are the numbers of a company that's firing on all cylinders. But like you said, they're not stopping there. They're really going for it. They're going for that super app status.
Yeah.
The one-stop shop.
Yeah, one-stop shop for all your financial needs.
Everything.
That's a big vision.
It is. It's a big vision, but I think they've laid out a pretty compelling plan. They've got this idea of the financial services productivity loop,
Okay.
which is basically this idea that by attracting customers with one product, they're more likely to adopt others.
I see.
You know, so you start using their money management app. Then maybe you decide, oh, I want to check out their investment options. And then next thing you know, you're using SoFi for loans or for insurance.
I see. So it's all about creating this seamless experience that keeps people engaged.
Right, exactly. It's all about that really good user experience that keeps people coming back for more.
Yeah, and their 2024 numbers seem to show that this is working.
Yeah.
They achieved a ratio of 6.3 financial services products. So that's things like Money Invest and Relay for every one lending product.
Wow.
So that shows that this cross-selling is working.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really impressive ratio. And it seems like it really is a sticky ecosystem. Like once people get in, they're not leaving.
Yeah, they're staying. And I think a lot of that could be attributed to the acquisitions that they made.
Yeah.
Galileo and Technices.
Huge, huge acquisitions for them.
Yeah, these are really big news.
Absolutely.
In the fintech world.
Yeah.
Would you say that they're key to this super app ambition?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. So let's break those down a little bit. Let's start with Galileo.
Okay.
Galileo is essentially the backbone that allows SoFi to create and launch new financial products.
That was like the engine.
Yeah.
No.
It's under the hood. It's powering all those things like card issuance and payment processing and even those digital banking solutions.
Okay.
And then you've got Technices, which
Yeah.
is coming in, and it's enhancing that digital banking experience. So they're providing these really slick web and mobile platforms that customers actually interact with.
Okay.
So it's all about making that really user-friendly.
I see. So when you combine these two acquisitions,
Yeah.
it becomes incredibly powerful.
It's a potent combination. It really gives them the ability to innovate quickly and to respond to all the changes that are happening in the needs of their customer.
Yeah, it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the scale and reach
Yeah.
that Galileo brings.
Absolutely.
By the end of 2024, they had 168 million accounts on their platform.
Wow. That's a huge user base. Yeah. Really shows how they're dominating that business-to-business market.
So they're not just building this consumer-facing super app.
Right.
They're also becoming a major player
Yeah.
in the infrastructure world.
Exactly. So they're playing on both sides of the field,
Yeah.
catering to consumers and businesses.
So this is all part of their strategy
Yeah.
of diversifying revenue stream.
Absolutely. Diversifying revenue streams, expanding their reach, and ultimately positioning themselves for long-term growth.
Right, so it's like they're building this ecosystem
Yeah.
with multiple entry points.
Right. It's an ecosystem. It's all interconnected. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
So it's not just about getting customers.
Right.
It's about weaving them in.
It's about weaving them into the fabric of SoFi's offerings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And creating that network effect where the more users you have, the more businesses you have, the more valuable the whole platform becomes.
Yeah, that's a powerful idea.
It is.
And they seem to be executing it really well.
They are doing a fantastic job.
It's pretty clear they're building something impressive.
Yeah.
But like with any ambitious venture,
Right.
there's always potential risks.
Yeah, of course.
So one that comes to mind is their lending business.
Mm-hmm.
Are these super app ambitions
Right.
built on a shaky foundation?
Yeah.
Or are they managing risk effectively?
I think that's a great question, and it's one that any investor should be asking, especially when you see a company growing this quickly.
Right.
It's natural to be a little bit cautious, particularly in the lending space.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think SoFi is taking a pretty multifaceted approach to managing risk,
Okay.
which I find very reassuring.
So how are they doing that? How are they mitigating these risks?
Well, for starters, they're not putting all their eggs in one basket.
Right.
So they're not relying solely on originating and holding loans,
Right.
which can be kind of dicey
Yeah.
in a fluctuating economy.
Yeah, especially in today's climate.
Exactly. So they're diversifying their lending strategy.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Well, they've got a couple of things going on. One, they retain some portion of loans on their balance sheet,
Okay,
and that generates that recurring interest income.
I see.
So that's providing them with a steady stream of revenue.
Yeah, okay.
But they're also selling loan portfolios to institutional investors.
Okay.
So that's through loan sales. And they're also packaging loans into securities
Right.
through securitizations.
Yeah.
So that helps them to manage their overall risk
Okay.
and to tap into different capital markets.
Right. So it's about spreading the risk,
Exactly.
leveraging different funding sources.
It's all about diversification.
Yeah, smart. Now, earlier you mentioned a loan platform business.
Yeah.
What is that exactly?
So that's actually another really interesting piece of their lending puzzle. With the loan platform business, SoFi is actually facilitating loans for third parties.
Okay.
So they're essentially acting as a matchmaker,
Oh, okay.
connecting borrowers with lenders without actually holding the loan themselves.
Oh, I see.
So it's a much more capital-light model,
Yeah,
and it generates fee-based revenue,
right.
but it also minimizes their direct exposure to credit risk.
So they're kind of like a financial marketplace.
Yeah, exactly. They're creating this platform where all these transactions can take place,
Right.
and they're benefiting from facilitating those transactions
I see.
without actually taking on that full burden of risk.
Yeah, that's a clever approach.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're moving towards this more capital-light, fee-based revenue model,
Yeah,
which makes a lot of sense
it does.
for their growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's really key for their sustainable growth.
Yeah, but let's go back to the core lending business for a second.
Okay.
What about the quality of the loans?
Mm-hmm.
Are they writing good loans, or are they taking on too much risk just to grow?
Again, I think they're being very cautious here. The data suggests they have very strong credit standards.
Okay.
Their recent personal loan vintages are performing really well,
Okay.
even better than their own internal projections.
What kind of projections are we talking about?
So they've set an 8% life of loan loss tolerance for their personal loan portfolio,
Okay.
which is essentially like a benchmark for acceptable losses over the life of those loans.
Okay.
And the fact that their portfolio is performing better than that benchmark
Right.
suggests they're managing risk very well
Okay.
and writing loans that are likely to be repaid.
That's good. That's a good sign.
It is.
So they're balancing growth
Yeah.
with these prudent underwriting practices.
Exactly. It's not just about chasing volume for them. It's about sustainable growth.
Yeah.
And that includes maintaining a healthy loan portfolio.
Okay. So it's good to see that they're not sacrificing quality just to expand.
Right.
But with all this talk about diversification
Yeah.
and strategic acquisitions,
Right.
it makes you wonder where it's all leading.
Yeah.
So what does their 2025 roadmap actually look like?
Right.
Like, what goals have they set for themselves?
Well, get ready because their projections are very ambitious.
Okay.
They're forecasting annual revenue between $3.2 billion and $3.275 billion in 2025.
Wow, that's a big jump from 2024.
It is a big jump. They're also expecting adjusted EBITDA between $845 million and $865 million.
Okay.
So that shows they're focused on profitability.
So they're not only growing growing the top line,
Right.
but also improving the bottom line.
Exactly. And on top of that, they're projecting to add at least 2.8 million new members in 2025.
Those are some bold targets.
They are.
But given their track record and the moves they've made,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet against them.
I wouldn't either. They seem to be firing on all cylinders.
They do.
And really executing this vision effectively.
Yeah, they're a company that's clearly going places.
They are.
And it's really disrupting the traditional financial services model.
Yeah, they're creating something totally unique.
Yeah, but like with any disruptor, the question is,
Right.
can they keep this up?
Yeah, can they maintain this momentum?
And they maintain this momentum.
That is the million-dollar question.
It is. Only time will tell.
Right.
But for now, SoFi is a really fascinating case study
It is.
in innovation and ambition.
Yeah.
And really the evolution of financial services.
It really raises some interesting questions about the future of finance.
Yeah, so for all of you listening, we ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
With SoFi setting this new standard for customer experience
Right.
and these digital-first services,
Yeah.
how do you see your own relationship with financial services evolving over the next few years?
Yeah. Are you going to embrace the change?
Yeah.
Will you partner with these disruptors like SoFi, or will you stick with these traditional players?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question to think about,
Yeah.
how these trends are going to play out.
Right.
SoFi is certainly pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, they are.
But what about traditional banks?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see them reacting to this disruption?
I think it's a pivotal moment for them.
Right.
You know, they can either try and resist the change,
Yeah.
hold on to those legacy systems and the ways they've always done things, or they can adapt and evolve.
Yeah, and some banks are already experimenting with digital platforms and fintech partnerships.
Yeah.
Do you think that's the right approach?
I think it's smart for them to at least be exploring those avenues.
Right.
You know, partnering with these fintech companies could give them access to some really cutting-edge technology and a much faster development process.
Okay.
But I think it goes deeper than that. You know, it's not just about replicating features.
Right.
They need to really rethink the whole customer experience
Yeah.
and embrace this digital-first mindset.
Yeah, it's got to be tough for them, though.
It is.
Because they're burdened by these legacy systems.
Right.
And these huge bureaucratic structures.
Yeah, it's hard to move quickly when you've got all that baggage.
Exactly. And they're also dealing with regulatory hurdles.
Oh, yeah.
And this risk-averse culture.
Absolutely. That can really stifle innovation.
Yeah, but ignoring the disruption is not an option either.
It's not.
SoFi and all these other fintech companies are showing that there's a real demand for these user-friendly, accessible financial services.
Absolutely. I think consumers are just expecting seamless digital experiences in every aspect of their lives now.
Yeah.
And finance is no exception.
Right. So traditional banks are at a crossroads.
They are.
They can either transform or get left behind.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I think the decisions they make over the next few years are going to be crucial to their long-term success.
Yeah. It's a really exciting time
It
for the
is.
financial industry, but also a very uncertain time.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen next.
But for consumers, it means more choices,
Absolutely.
more innovation,
More innovation.
and hopefully better financial experiences overall.
I think so, too. Yeah. It's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah, as long as they're willing to embrace the change.
Right.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into SoFi's 2025 roadmap.
Yeah.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
Their impressive performance,
Mhm.
their ambitious goals,
Yes.
strategic acquisition,
Huge acquisitions.
and really the implications for the entire financial industry.
It's been a great discussion. I think SoFi is definitely a company to watch.
Yeah, they are.
And I think their journey is going to teach us a lot about the future of finance.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you have a better understanding of SoFi's strategy,
Yeah,
their potential,
absolutely.
and all these forces that are shaping the future of finance.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time to be following this industry.
It really is.